Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so I'm Bhajagovindam Das, and the reason why I'm here is because Prakash Prabhu and Trupti Mataji, they're a part of the Bhakti Vriksha that I help out in. Snow probably knows, Snow's come in this session a few times, right? So I guess he chose me because I'm initiated, supposedly, and Prakash Prabhu and Trupti Mataji think that I have something to say about guru-disciple relationship. But let's see how that goes. So, before we think about guru-disciple relationship, it's important to understand who is guru, right? Now, generally people think, okay, we don't need a guru. But in the material world, we see gurus everywhere. When you're in school, we have teachers. Teachers are gurus, maths teacher, physics teacher. When you enter career, you have a career guru, right? Somebody who's helping you in your career path. You have mentors, you have coaches. But then when it comes to spiritual life, we often think, I don't need a guru. Why do I need a guru? I can do it myself. You know, like when I speak to many people, especially Hindu origins, you know, it's like, why do I need a guru? So many gurus are there, we don't know who's bona fide. And then they just go, I'll just learn Sanskrit and I'll study the books myself. If you want to be a doctor, then just learning the books, the medical books, does that help you become a doctor?
No.
You need the books, but you need a teacher, and you need others around you who can help you along the way as well. When you apply that in spiritual life, you get what's known as Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Your medical books are like your Shastra, like your spiritual books. The teacher, the medic teacher, is like the Guru in spiritual life. Spiritual guru. And then you have the friends or the senior friends who are helping you in the experiments, in the theory, in the practical. And they're like the sadhus. Those are more advanced who can help you in different subject matters. So when we think of spiritual life, we understand that just like in material life we need gurus, we need teachers, we need support, we need that in spiritual life also. And Prabhupada actually says, right, one who is inquisitive to understand the ultimate goal of life must approach a proper guru. So he says this in one of his lectures. This idea that in school, if we want to pass an exam, what do? We try and study. But then when we get stuck, who do we go to? Teacher. But we don't go to any old teacher, right? In the maths department, you have 5-6 teachers. But who do you go to? The one that you like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Yep. Should be the one who knows maths as well.
One who knows maths in the maths department, but the one you like, right? Yeah. Like I remember when I was in school, like between the years you change teachers. You know, from one year to the next year you change teachers, right? Others usually you don't get association of all the teachers in the maths department. And I remember this is when I was like pre-GCSE, so like key stage 2, right? Key stage 2, key stage 3, something like that. Whatever it is, just before GCSE, like year 9 area. And I was like, year 7, year 8, year 9, 3 years in high school, 3 different maths teachers, and I was studying for my maths exam. I didn't go to my teacher of that year. I went to the teacher of my first year in high school because I was like, I trust him, I like him, and I think he can teach me nicely. So even though we might have a teacher, somebody who we're taking teachings from here locally, but we still have somebody who we might connect with so much that we want to go to them for the bigger problems in life. Day-to-day exams, you know, day-to-day tests, okay, you know, as I'm doing my homework, I'll go to my normal maths teacher. But when it comes to the big test that actually matters, it's like, I want to make sure I get the proper answer in the proper way and I understand it properly. So I'll go to the teacher that I like, that I know can help and knows how I learn. Same way in spiritual life. We have so many gurus around us. You know, Kesha Maharaj is here. You have so many sadhus like Prakash Prabhu, Trupti Mataji, Sneho, Nitya Priya Mataji, Achyuta Gopuram Prabhu. So many devotees that you get association with. When you listen to morning Bhagavatam class, so many amazing speakers. You listen to all of them. You take guidance from all of them. But there comes a point in spiritual life where you're like, I need my favorite person. I need that one person who, when things go wrong, I trust that their guidance will take me to the other side. And that's where you start searching from a Shiksha Guru to a Diksha Guru. This thing that, yes, there's so many devotees around me and they're all amazing sadhus. But one of them, I just want to give my life to because I trust that they can help me cross the ocean. And the importance of such a Diksha Guru is very present also in, I think it's Katha Upanishad. It says, Yasya deve parabhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyeta katityahrita prakashante mahatmanaha. It says that one who has implicit faith in the Supreme Lord Krishna and in the spiritual master, then for such a person, all the imports of Vedic knowledge are revealed. Just by having implicit faith, meaning one-pointed, just fully focused, fully accepted, no questions asked, no challenging. But yes, what Krishna is saying, what the Guru is saying is perfect for me. And one who accepts that, understands that, and lives by that, then all the injunctions of the scriptures, all the knowledge, all the shastra that we're trying to learn and understand and absorb, automatically gets revealed. Now, how many of us read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam every day? Somebody should put their hand up. Okay. Yeah, a few. Okay, like how many of us are trying to read regularly? Okay, right, all of us regularly. But imagine, just by having implicit faith with Guru and Krishna, all that studying actually penetrates into the heart. All the studying we do with the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, how much of it actually goes into the heart? Very little, right? It goes more into the head. If we're intellectual, it goes into the head. Then you can recite nice verses, then you can remember what Prabhupada said in the purports, then you can remember what Krishna said in the verses. But how much of that is actually going deep in the heart? Not much. That's why Guru Tattva is actually so important. This idea of having a Guru. And it's not just about having a Guru.
I'm just taking notes, bro. I'm not texting anyone.
That's okay.
I'm just let you know.
Okay.
Just taking notes.
You have a very humble group. But yeah, Guru Tattva is important because it's not just for show that we want a Guru. You know, Bhaja Govindam Das. You know, I'm saying that I've got a Guru because I'm a Das now. I'm not Prakash, you know. Prakash Prabhu is waiting to be Prakash Das, you know, a Das of somebody. But having a Guru is actually about living as a servant of the Guru. It's about having the faith that actually this person can take me across. This person can actually help me in my spiritual life. Now a question may be asked, well, okay, implicit faith in Krishna, that I understand. But why implicit faith in the Guru? Because isn't Guru just like a human like us? One may think. Now, some are shaking their head because it's like, no, they're special. But what makes them special? What makes Guru special?
They're in the lineage.
They're in Parampara, lineage. Yeah? Anything else?
They're renunciates. They have renounced. They have kind of an elevated spirit, so they are beyond kind of being the attachments of the material world.
Okay, so they're beyond the attachments, so they're beyond the three modes of nature, or at least they're acting on that platform or behaving on that platform. Let's have the disciples speak. What was the question? What makes Guru special? Just Guru Tattva, not specifically Jipataka Maharaj or, you know, our individual gurus, but what makes Guru special?
He is an ideal disciple of his Guru.
Okay, he's the ideal disciple of his Guru. So this idea that actually a bona fide Guru is only a bona fide guru because he's a bona fide disciple. Leads into parampara, and we can talk about that in a bit. What's up?
Yeah, because he is strictly following, or he has already committed his life to his guru. That's why he's special.
So he's fully committed as well. So this idea of parampara is important. Yeah. But the other thing is that we have implicit faith in the guru because they're completely one-pointed, vivasayatmika buddhi. They're completely fixed up on Krishna. Krishna guru, like this whole parampara which leads to Krishna. There's a nice analogy that one can give, because the importance of guru is that they can connect us to Krishna. Just like they connect us to the parampara, which makes us a disciple, because the way they're connected to Krishna is what's important to us. There was a guru, some say it's Guru Nanak, but I've never found an authentic source on it. But there's basically a guru who went to Jagannath Puri, to the Jagannath temple at one point. And he was just like so mesmerized by Jagannath. He was just serving Jagannath. But when he was with Jagannath, he was singing glories of his spiritual master, of his guru. And all the devotees of Jagannath were like confused, like he's standing in front of Jagannath, he's like crying his eyes out to Jagannath, but he's glorifying and singing about his guru. Like, what is this nonsense? And then they see, they stayed mum, because devotees are tolerant to some degree. They stayed mum. And then they saw that guru's disciples, after they left the temple, they started worshipping the feet of the guru. Washing the feet, flowering, offering prayers, etc. So now they were like confused. They stopped, it was like, what is this going on? Like, how can you be in Jagannath Puri, in front of Jagannath, glorifying a person, glorifying a guru, and then afterwards you're taking service from your own disciples? A guru's position is to make your disciples serve Krishna. But here you are accepting service, and here you are talking about your guru in front of Krishna. So then this guru basically told the devotees, okay, to explain this, make a fire, campfire, whatever it is, and then go and hold the fire. Everybody knows what a campfire looks like, right?
Yeah.
How would you hold the fire?
We can't.
You can't. You can't touch the fire, because if you touch the fire, you'll burn your hands. So then the devotees were like, can't do it. So then the guru was like, okay, I'm giving you this stick. Now you put it in the fire and hold the fire. And then the devotees were like, okay, they do it. Obviously the stick has got fire on it now. So then the guru asks, are you holding fire? Answer is yes. Because they're holding a piece of wood which has got the fire, which is holding the fire. So before they couldn't touch the fire because it will burn them. But now they can touch the fire via the medium of the wood, of the stick. And in the same way, you've got Krishna. He's Satchidananda. He's spiritual, right? His whole existence is spiritual. But when we're contaminated by so much of the material energy, how can we hope to touch Krishna? How can we hope to connect to Krishna directly? When we go in front of the temple, in the temple room, in front of the deities, how many of us actually see Sakshat Krishna is right there? The real Krishna is there. Radha Goklananda, the real Krishna. Radha Krishna. Many of us will go into the temple, pay obeisances, look at the deities. Oh wow, the dress is so nice. Oh wow, the jewelry is so nice. Okay, 5 minutes, let's go. Move on to the next task. Gotta come to the Bhakti Vriksha. But actually, if we saw that was Radha Krishna, then you see so many pastimes in the scriptures where everybody's just so mesmerized that they lose track of time. The gopis cry out about how just by blinking, they're become so upset because that blink causes them to not see Krishna. Then you have Narada Muni, like everywhere he goes, he's always singing Krishna's praises. But as soon as we exit the temple room, we start singing our glories. Or this other person, oh Mataji, your sari is so nice. Oh Prabhu, like, you know, where did you get your kurta from? Or how's life going? And then we start complaining about all the problems at work. How the children don't listen. But these devotees see Krishna, see Radharani, see the deities, and they're like, this is Krishna. So when that's the position of how somebody touches or comes in contact with Krishna, how can we actually come in contact with Krishna? We need to go via a medium who has that much love for Krishna. And that's Guru. And in Bhagavad Gita, in many, many verses, Krishna talks about how Mahatmas, right, these great souls who are purely in love with Krishna, who are purely in love and are spiritually deep, they only do one thing: serve. Their life is dedicated to service, like we spoke about, to the spiritual master, to Krishna, because that's their life. And such is a qualification of a guru, actually. Somebody who's dedicated their life to serving Krishna, to devotional service. So like, they're above the three modes of material nature. Because what does it mean to be above the three modes of material nature? We're fully in contact with transcendental reality, which means that we're fully in contact with Krishna's reality.
And how does that look like?
Meaning?
How does Krishna's reality look like? How does it feel like?
I wish I knew. But you see, like, Kesha Maharaj is right now, is everybody know Kesha Maharaj?
Yes.
Assuming so, right? Okay. So right now he's in South Africa. And I've been speaking to a few devotees in South Africa. He's only done like 2 days worth of programs. All the devotees are tired. The temple president is tired. And they're like, it feels like a week's gone by. But Kesha Maharaj is there, ready for the next program, ready to speak, ready to serve. Because they feel so much bliss. And that bliss gives them so much energy. Because they don't work on material energy. They don't work on like hours of sleep like we do. They work on spiritual potency, the mercy that's flowing through them.
Right.
So, if you want to know, then ask some of these qualified gurus or senior Vaishnavas, or become one. Because actually that's the life of a disciple. Spoke about guru. Guru is one who is in parampara and one who is one who is always serving Krishna. But then what's the qualification of a disciple? My spiritual master would say that actually you only become a disciple if you're serious about becoming a pure devotee. The sincerity is required because you're actually serious about spiritual life. Talk about this test example, right? In school, when you have an exam, you lose your sleep over it, right? Especially in university where you've spent the whole year doing nothing, and then it's 2 days before exam, it's if I don't pass, I'll go home, and then parents will beat the hell out of you. You know? As Indians, we can say that.
Exactly.
But then when it comes to the test of life, the exams of life, we always find ourselves falling short. And to the degree that we are okay falling short, to that degree we're not sincere in our spiritual life. It's not that we don't fall short, it's not that a devotee or a disciple doesn't fall short, but it's that they're serious and sincere that they want to achieve the highest end. They set the bar so high. There's a book called Chasing Rhinos, right?
Yes.
Does everybody understand why it's called Chasing Rhinos? Because Prabhupada set out to do the impossible. Chasing rhinos is impossible. If you ever have seen rhinos, it's how do you chase a rhino? but you set out a task which is impossible. And so if you don't achieve it, the fact that you kept trying is glorious. Because people are like, wow, like you created this high bar for yourself. You were never going to achieve it. It's okay. The fact that you kept going for it, that's inspiring. But then if you actually manage to catch the rhino, not only was it glorious that you endeavored for it, but it's glorious that you even got it. So you set the bar so high that you just keep aspiring and aspiring. You may never achieve it, but the fact that you kept pushing yourself to serve the Guru, that makes your life as a disciple perfect. Because then your life isn't about you. It's not about I, me, mine. It's about what the Guru wants. It's about how can we serve the Guru? How can we please the Guru? And I guess I end up going to my verse anyway. Yeah.
That's a good question now or later.
Okay, if
It's completely relevant to that point.
Go on.
So, is that point? So you talked about the chasing the rhino, and then possibly like, okay, you don't make it, but it's glorious. Is the fact that we're still talking personally, that still concerned with I, me, mine, that when I fail, then I castigate myself. So if I'm sort of thinking, I'm trying to imagine that point of actually failing on something and then like not castigating myself for failing. So presumably that's part of this, the disciple, or is that like still a
is that coming from a place of guilt?
Could be. I'm not sure where it comes from. Otherwise I could tap on it and get rid of it. But
Like what do you mean by
like if you're trying something, you go for to try to be bold, and you fail on it, or you think about, you worry that you're not going to achieve it. So those thoughts, they like once the thought of not achieving it creeps in, then actually you're almost doomed. You sort of pull yourself back. Whereas you're talking about doing this impossible task, but actually retaining that constant focus of not failing in that task. It must be unwavering. It must be you never think of failure. Prabhupada would never have thought of failure. He just kept doing it.
Prabhupada had this vision, like he was speaking to a reporter once, and he said, I have all these temples. Only time separates us. Only time separates us. This idea that before he even blew up in one sense, he was speaking to a reporter, or somebody at least, and they were asking, what do you have, and so on and so forth. And he was like, I have all these temples, I have all these books, I have all these things, but only time separates us. Because it wasn't manifest there for him. But he had this vision, he had this goal that he was going to achieve this. And so he kept pushing for it. But the question I have in response to that, and I love questioning in responses, is what is the identity by which we are setting the goal? Because this idea of achieving something, in one sense, yes, okay, I appreciate I'm the one that spoke about setting the goal, right? But is that the goal of does that goal define our success? Or is the endeavor defining our success?
Of course, I know the textbook answer that the endeavor is where I would want to place my time. But I guess, yeah, it's being sort of satisfied with the endeavor. But my endeavor could be something that's working well within myself. And maybe that makes I have no spiritual progress as a result. So how do I measure my spiritual progress without having some sort of a goal?
Okay, so that's a different point as well, because the classic example anyway of how do you know you're full? You don't need anybody else to tell you you're full.
Mm.
You feel it inside. But this idea that you need a measure of success which is external. Yeah, okay, you know, like if you look at Prabhupada's movement, if devotees didn't and disciples didn't set targets, didn't challenge each other, you know, the classic book distribution. Prabhupada would encourage the different yatras to challenge each other on book distribution. He'll be telling devotees, oh, you know, in Los Angeles they did this many books. Glorifying the devotees, but then also going like, you need to up your game. This transcendental competition, like we have this at the manor as well, like all the yatras, you know, like which of the groups from the manor are doing the most books. And at some point we start feeling like it's just mundane, you know, like we're just bringing competition into ISKCON. But actually it's competition to encourage each other to do more and more. So if our mood is that, oh, you know, Kiran, you're doing so many books and I'm not, I'm going to stop you doing books and like steal your scores. That's not good, that's not healthy. But it's like, Kiran's doing so well. Dharmesh, you and I need to do so much better as well. He's serving Krishna so nicely, we need to serve Krishna nicely. So, goals are good. Goals are good. But when the goal is... So from setting the goal, there may come a point where we feel guilty that we're not doing enough for that goal. Like, okay, we're like failing as you were using this, you know? Like, what is actual failure? Prabhupada says that actually, any endeavor, as long as it's for Krishna, whether the result is successful or unsuccessful, is a success. Because the endeavor was for Krishna, not for us. And we know, like, Krishna consciousness is not about the results, because the results aren't in our hands. There's five doers. Or I simplify it as what I try to do, what is given to me, and Krishna's sanction. What I try to do is in my hands. You know, if I try and endeavor for something, if I desire something, that's in my hand. What's given to me is not necessarily in my hand. You know, if I have a broken arm, well, that's what Krishna's given me. That's the material nature. I can't do anything about that. If I'm born in a rich family or a poor family, I can't do anything about that. Because that's what's given to me. And Krishna's sanction is Krishna's sanction. Whatever he desires will happen. So I have no control over that as well. The only thing I have control over is what I try to do. So when we understand that our success is not in the result, because we have no control over the result, then automatically we start seeing success being in the endeavor and the desire. And if in that endeavor we feel like we're falling short, that's good, because that shows that we're actually humble. You know, oftentimes, at least for myself, it's like, I've done so well, you know, I'm doing so much. But then it's like, am I actually? Like, am I losing? Prabhupada would give up his sleep to write books. Have I given up my sleep to write books? And I dare say I'm doing well. The Goswamis in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, they would live under trees, having like just a handful of food, if it's given to them, and rest of the time they'll be preaching and speaking and writing. Have I given up my comfortable home, my comfortable bed, my comfortable sofa? No. So these devotees, senior devotees, they set the bar so high that it's like, we have nothing to actually say that we've been successful in one sense. But then we might have guilt. Guilt that, okay, I'm not doing well enough. And that's where guilt can be good for us or can be toxic for us. It can be good for us if the guilt inspires us to do more. Like, okay, you know, I've not done well enough. I need to do better next time. I need to do better tomorrow. I went out for book distribution, but I didn't really give my energy out there. Tomorrow, I'll make sure I give more energy, more enthusiasm. But then guilt can be toxic if we start living in the guilt. because then we're getting consumed by it. It's like, okay, yeah, something went wrong. Maybe we did something wrong. And then you're just like constantly like, I'm good for nothing. I did so many bad things. Like this went wrong, this went wrong, this went wrong. And then even when you have a chance tomorrow to do it better, you're like, no, like, even if I try, like, the same thing's just going to happen. I'm just going to screw up again. Something's going to go wrong again. And so then you get consumed by the negative emotion. And that's not good. But guilt, which inspires us, is an impetus to help us grow and do better. So I think I went round in circles on that question, but I have no idea if I answered the question.
No, you did. Thank you, Prabhu. I mean, basically, what it's in. Yeah, no, it's fine. Understood.
Okay. So I was going to say, going back, brings in my favorite verse again. Yeah? Well, it's not my favorite verse, but it's one of my favorites. It's one of the first ones I learned and taught on, actually. Srimad Bhagavatam 9:18-44. It describes different levels of disciples, because we were talking about what the qualifications of disciples. Let's see if you remember the Sanskrit. Uttamashtintatam kuryat proktakari tu madhyama adhamo shadaya kuryat akarto charitam pituhu. Actually gives 4 levels. Uttamashtintatam kuryat. The first class disciple is one who understands what the guru wants and acts on it. They're not told. They're not asked. They just understand what the guru wants and acts on it. Second class, madhyama, is one who gets the instructions from the guru and then acts on it. Then it says the third class is one who gets the instructions and I don't want to do it, but because my guru said it, I'll do it. Irreverently, it's described. They do it because they feel there's a duty that they have to do it. They don't really want to do it, but they have to do it. And then the fourth class is described as the father's stool, the guru's stool.
What?
Stool, urine and stool.
Guru's stool. Oh, okay. It's described like that.
So the verse is actually, in context, it's talking about a father and different types of sons. Yeah? But when you apply it in a spiritual context, well, it is from Bhagavatam, but when you apply it in a guru-disciple context, the guru is the father, the disciple is the son or the daughter. Now, generally, there are 2 functions of private parts, right? One is to give birth, and one is to excrete. So the fourth type that is described is basically saying that you came out of that private part, but you're good for nothing. Because you're not listening to the guru, you're not listening to the father. So you're good for nothing, therefore you're just like stool. Because we don't like treasure stool, right? We don't like carry it and like feed it and like, help nurture it for many, many years. So first class is one who just understands what the guru wants. They have purchased the heart of the guru so much that the guru is so present in their consciousness that as soon as the guru expresses something, not even words, just expresses a certain way of doing things, just moves their hand or something, then the disciple immediately knows what the guru wants.
There's a past time that my wife was telling you His Holiness Karam Swami Maharaj, when Jayadrit Maharaj just mentioned a problem that's happening in New York, and Karam Swami Maharaj just books his flight to New York and solves it out. It was not an instruction, but he just mentioning a problem.
Yeah, so in context, Jayadvaita Maharaj was basically saying or just talking about how there's so many issues in the New York temple.
Yeah.
And Kankan Maharaj, he didn't get told that he needs to go to New York. He just saw, my guru wants the New York temple to flourish. So I'm going to make it my mission to now go to New York and help it flourish. in CC, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you have the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Rath Yatra, right? Jagannath's Rath Yatra. And Mahaprabhu is like so ecstatic in seeing Jagannath. He doesn't know like how to explain his feelings. He doesn't know anything. He can't speak. But what comes to his mind, and I wish I knew the verse, but what comes to mind is a mundane poem about the love between a male and a female. Now all the devotees are confused, like, huh? Mahaprabhu, you're in front of Jagannath and like you're talking about the love story between a male and a female. But Rupa Goswami understands the mood, understands what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going through, and he then writes a verse to then explain that actually this is Mahaprabhu's separation from Jagannath. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like surprised, like, how does he understand my heart? But Rupa Goswami is the one that gives us the Mahavadaya Krishna Prema Padayate verse. He understands that actually of all the incarnations of Krishna, Mahaprabhu is the most merciful. And then also with Prabhupada, you see that very early on, I don't know when, so whilst Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his own spiritual master, was still present, then at one point, I think it was a poem that Prabhupada wrote, poem or something, describing Bhakti Siddhanta's mood of how he wanted to basically just eliminate all Mayavadis. The whole Mayavad philosophy, he wanted to completely abolish it. And when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur saw this stanza, poem, whatever it was, he was like, sure, Abhay Charan understands my mood. He understands what I want. And then he told the editors of the magazine, Harmonist I think it's called, whatever Abhay Charan writes, publish it. You don't need to check it, you don't need to do anything. Because this devotee, this disciple, has understood my mood. So that's the topmost disciple understands the mood of the spiritual master. Then the second class, the one who gets the instruction and then acts on the instruction. You can describe this as, actually, I'll save an example for the third class. But this thing where, okay, the Guru's told us something, we're actually enthusiastic about doing it. We actually feel like, yes, the Guru knows right, and I want to do it because this will please the Guru. They've not quite understood the Guru well enough to just act immediately upon hearing, upon understanding what the Guru wants. But they need the Guru to say it to them, give that instruction. Then the third class, the class that listens to the instruction but unwillingly. Best example. How many of you have children or have had children who are quite young? All of you, yeah? Okay. You've just come home from work, tired, thirsty. Your child is on the sofa watching TV serial, cartoon, or playing a video game. And you got your backpack and everything else. And then you ask them once, please can you give me some water? Can you get some water for me? Why did you laugh? Because what would the child do?
Not do it first of all.
Exactly. Right? They don't want to do it. But then you tell them off, no, you need to, just get me some water, Then they grudgingly listen.
I think you have children who are young. I think that applies to even the adult children.
Okay, fair point. Note to self.
I didn't raise my hand with my kids. My children are no longer.
Fair enough.
They've grown up a little bit.
That's fair enough. But yeah, it's true, right? We tell them to do something, but then they don't do it. But then you tell them again and again, and then they grudgingly listen at some point. Because then you send them to detention, you take their, TV time away or whatever it is. So it's because they don't want to lose something that they do what you've asked them to do. And that's the third type that's described. It is
Or they wanted something.
or they wanted something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember
Make a deal.
my youngest brother, he used to like when he wanted something, he used to bring the water as soon as my father used to come, and he used to bring the water. So, and then slowly we figure it out. Whenever he wants something, he goes straight to it.
Applying the butter, huh? The butter philosophy.
Yeah.
Spread the butter, and then you get
Whatever
whatever you want. No, that's true. That's their roster. But you can see the distinctions, right? Topmost is one who fully understands the heart of the group. Second is they may not have fully understood it, but they're serious, they're sincere, and they really want to do something to please the guru. Then the third will do it because they've got a guru, and it's like if they reject the guru, then that's not good for them. They don't get the thing that they want, or they just get punished for something. So they'll do it, they just listen to the guru. But then the fourth type, they just don't listen to the guru. They've got a guru. They went through the initiation process, but then they just don't listen to the guru. So what sort of disciple is that?
Stool.
Stool.
So this one is 9, 18, or which one?
44.
44. I read that, obviously not in the context of Guru, but as you said,
Context
was
of
in the
father
context
child.
of father-child.
That's actually a beauty of Bhagavatam, It's like there's so many multiple meanings you can get out of the verses. Like, I think it's SB 111, maybe. Anyway, this verse talking about how, no, it can't be 111. Anyway, whichever verse it is, but this verse talking about how Krishna enlightened Brahma, as the first Kavi to speak and like learn create the universe, etc., etc.
It's 111.
111, yeah. But then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he takes it and he goes that this verse, yes, it's for Brahma and Krishna, but it's also for Rupa Goswami and for Mahaprabhu, because Rupa Goswami is the first Kavi. And in that verse in the Sanskrit, it talks about Kavi. Kavi meaning poet.
Adikavaye. That Sanskrit is Adikavaye.
Yeah, Adi Kavi. So there's always multiple meanings from the verse, and that's the beauty. That's why we have so many commentaries on Bhagavatam. Anyway, I've spoken a lot.
One question in terms of disciples, what's it called? Disciple, second disciple. Even when we would hear the Guru, at times there could be material hindrances that can come, which can prevent us from fulfilling the desires together, So how to go about with that?
Yeah, it's a real problem, right? Like, for example, the Guru may have told you to go to China and preach, but then you've got wife, you've got young kids, you've got a house, bills to pay, etc. How do you do it? There you can speak to the Guru, The Gurus aren't like, they are authority, 100% they're authority and we should listen, but it's not that they say something and then that's like golden, that you have to now do it. You do it. Disciples' duty is to listen to the spiritual master and follow their instruction. But you can discuss the practical situation about it. They may go, oh, okay, yeah, you've got a wife, you've got small kids, I didn't know you had a mortgage. Okay, don't do it now, but do it at some point. Prepare your life to do it. We all often talk about Prabhupada's life being a life in preparation. He had an instruction, go to the West and preach. In English. But how old was he when he went to the West? 69. Did he not listen to his Guru? No, he did, but he was preparing himself to fulfill the mission of the Guru. So in the same way, we also take these instructions and prepare ourselves. If we have opportunity to discuss with the Guru, we should take it. Okay, Maharaj, well, actually we would call them Maharaj even if they're Grahastas, but you've given this instruction, but I don't know how I can do this given my situation. There's this. How do you think I should go about it? The key is like Bhagavad Gita 434, Pariprashnena Sevaya. Right? This idea of submissiveness, right? inquiring submissively. It's not that we're like, oh, but I've got this situation, like I can't do this, so I'll do this instead, Maharaj. Is that okay? No, because then we're imposing our desires onto the Guru. Maharaj, you've given this, but I'm finding it difficult because of this. What should I do? When our life's questions are molded in a submissive way, in a mood of how best can I serve what your desire is, that's where life becomes successful. Because we spoke about how Guru Tattva is so special because they are above the three modes of nature. But we are still conditioned. We're still conditioned. We're still focusing in the modes of ignorance, passion, and goodness. Sometimes we're in ignorance, sometimes we're in passion, sometimes we're in goodness. And when we're in goodness, we think, oh, I'm such a nice devotee, such a good devotee. But then the next day we crash down to ignorance. So we still function in these material modes. So when we go to Guru, then we're trying to take their spiritual elevation, bringing it into our life, whether that's through the instruction, whether that's through the association. And so Guru Tattva is about recognizing that Guru is different to Krishna, but he's also non-different to Krishna. He's different to Krishna because he's an individual, he's not Krishna himself. But he's non-different to Krishna because he's so connected with his own super soul. And he's so deep in his own bhajan, in his own practice of spirituality, that his desires are non-different to Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, or even throughout the Mahabharata, oftentimes you have Krishna and Krishna. Krishna referring to Govinda, Krishna, the one that we see on the altar. But then we also have Krishna referring to Arjun, or a devotee who is so connected with Krishna's desire that he is called Krishna. You see this in the Mahabharata, and I think it's in Bhagavad Gita as well, maybe if somebody knows. But I'm pretty sure it's in Bhagavad Gita also. Or Prabhupada talks about it in the Tadpur. But in Mahabharata you see Krishna referring to Krishna, Arjun. Draupadi is also sometimes called Krishna. Personalities. Why? Because it's not that they are Krishna, but their desires are so in tune with Krishna that their desires are basically Krishna's desires. That's why they're given that respect. And that's Guru's position. That Guru is so elevated, so focused on Krishna, that we worship them as Krishna, or as good as Krishna, but recognize that they're not Krishna.
So, Prabhu, I was just thinking, so, quite often we think about, we think, we're making a decision about something and perhaps we think it's the right thing to do. And we ourselves, our conditioning, our mind, mean that we never really quite know, is it like our mind telling us that this is the right thing to do? Or is it actually our Paramatma? Is it really the right thing to do? We can't tell. I certainly couldn't tell. But the Guru can see into your heart, right? They can see. So is that kind of what happens in that relationship, that the Guru can actually help you to kind of almost mask the noise of the mind? Is that what happens?
Yeah, it's a nice way to see it. I never saw it that way. But yeah, that's pretty nice, because when you approach the Guru in a submissive mood, you're saying that I trust my life to you. I mean, when we get initiated, you guys have been through the process, I think, right, in terms of conversation? At least the philosophy behind it.
We did a little bit a couple of weeks ago, right? So Nritya Premaji talked about it a little bit. We had a discussion. But I think anything you can share is always nice.
But yeah, so at initiation, it's considered rebirth. Initiation technically means beginning, right? When you break it down, it means beginning, new beginning. So when you get initiated, you're basically saying we're letting go of all the previous stuff and creating a new beginning. And I forgot the point you made now. So focused on that.
About the guru and how the
Oh yes,
concept-
yeah, connection. So we get our life back, but we're basically saying that I'm dedicating my new life to the guru. But initiation isn't the ceremony actually, right? Oftentimes when you've probably heard of the initiation, okay, you go around, okay, for first initiation what happens? You get new neck beads, you get a new japa mala, which the guru has chanted on, and then you have a yagna, a fire yagna that you go around, and you offer you offer your vows. That's all external. But the real initiation happens when you actually take the guru and guru's position into the heart. To the degree, and Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita as well, to the degree that one comes to me, to that degree I will... Yeah, to that degree he'll reciprocate as well, right? Same with Guru. To the degree that we give ourselves to Guru, to that degree the initiation ceremonies actually happened in the heart. So, if we are serious in our relationship with Guru, then the Guru like that will know exactly what's in our heart and reciprocate with us in that same way. And if we're not so sincere, then also the Guru will see into our heart and recognize where we're at and know that this person isn't ready for this. I need to give him this. Because the Guru's position is not to just give us the highest tattva. The Guru's position is to help us through the journey to Krishna. And if we're down at the bottom, giving us the highest tattva isn't going to help us. So what the Guru does is, you're down here, I'm going to give you this step. You get onto that step, and Guru Maharaj would talk about this like a game of tennis. Yeah? What happens in tennis? You always like bang the ball from one side to the other. And so the Guru is basically batting the ball, right? He's got the ball, he's hit the ball to you. He's served the ball. And if you respond, if you actually hit the ball back, then the Guru is like, okay, this Kartikeya is actually hitting the ball. Let me give him a harder ball to hit. Faster ball, more swing, or whatever it is, And like this, the Guru is playing tennis. Okay, Kartikeya is now hitting back even again, And it's like, okay, now I need to give a harder ball. And this goes back and forth, I hit, he hits. I hit, he hits. But if Kartikeya is just like, oh, this ball, I don't want to hit the ball, it's too scary, it's too fast, like, I'm not going to hit it. And Guru's like, okay, let me try the ball again. Maybe he didn't notice I was hitting the ball at him. So I tried 2, 3, 4 times, and it's like, let me try a slower ball, an easy ball. I just like lobbed the ball over. And if Kartikeya still doesn't take it, then I'm just going to be bored in the game, right? The Guru's just going to be bored. So the relationship between Guru and disciple, he describes as basically a tennis match, where it's exciting for the Guru when the disciple is excited to play the game as well. And you see in the lives of those who are uttama disciples, who are topmost disciples, they're sincere, they're serious, and they reciprocate with the Guru's tennis match. The ball that the Guru hits to them, they hit it back strong and hard. And they will keep hitting it. And the Guru will keep giving them harder and harder balls, but they'll keep hitting it. And if by chance the 1 or 2 balls you don't hit, the Guru is helping you learn how can you hit that ball the next time. Because the Guru is there to help you. Just like a coach on when you get coached in anything. The coach pushes you beyond your limit, and when you reach your limit, the coach doesn't go like, you're not good enough, go away. No, the coach is like, okay, now I see where your limitations are, let me help you through those limitations. And so for disciples who have that submissive mood, that sincere mood, that serious mood, are always searching for that game with their guru actually. What ball is my guru hitting to me? And how do I need to hit the ball back?
Is it that so because some guru has so many disciples, so how can they tell that this person is I wanted to send for preaching or I want to send? How can they do that?
I'm going to open it up to the disciples in this room who have a Maharaj who has like 70,000 plus disciples.
So definitely how we feel connected to our guru is that the instructions that the guru is imparting to us. And when we feel that the instruction is upon us, we always feel like that with that instructions comes some empowerment. So it's not like we feel like that this instruction is specific for me and this is not. Because at some point we won't be having the physical presence of Guru. I mean, in that case, everything that Guru has said is the instructions for his disciples. Then you can't discriminate that this is my stage, I will accept this instruction, then I will get up. I mean, this can happen at some point when the senior God brothers could help us getting mature.
Yeah.
But unless we have to accept that everything that Guru has said is the instruction towards us. First point. And second point is what the Guru actually wants us from me. So Guru doesn't want me to be a good assistant to him. Guru, just whatever Guru wants is to become for me a good, I'd say a good devotee. So everything that is required for that, that's entirely upon our sincerity. I mean, we can't say that we will progress up to that level and that is for us. We are done. So everything, if we just feel like every instruction that the Guru has imparted to us, we have to follow that. And this, and if we just keep the focus of following that, we'll find that everything's actually getting easier for us to follow. I mean, that's the empowerment will automatically come as long as we are becoming sincere. That's not like the reciprocation of Guru particularly or pointedly focusing to us. That's like we are playing with Guru by following his instruction. As we are following the instruction, we'll be getting empowered. And as we'll be getting more and more mature. And that's like the playing tennis. Not like that Guru will himself throw a softer ball to us first and then the harder ball. That's how we take actually. I mean, not sure that how much specific I've been.
But this idea that oftentimes we think that I should have a personal instruction. But when you listen to a lot of senior devotees, Japatak Maharaj, Kalamkar Maharaj, and even Prabhupada mentions it many times, that all my instructions, all my ecstasies, everything is available where? In his purports.
Yeah.
This idea that we often think that the personal instruction is the instruction for me. But actually everything the Guru says is an instruction for me, as Prabhupada was mentioning. Because the Guru, if the Guru is bona fide, if the Guru is actually connected in Parampara, if the Guru is actually deep in his own Krishna consciousness, he wants nothing but giving Krishna consciousness. Everything he does is Krishna conscious in some way. Even if the Guru is just sitting down and just enjoying a laugh with somebody, it's not because they're like enjoying their laugh. It's because somehow in that connection there is Krishna present. How, you might ask? If somebody is not very deep in their own Krishna consciousness and the Guru is associating with them, then the Guru needs to make a spark, right, in that person. How do you make a spark? By being heavy on philosophy? By being a friend first. And if they're not spiritually mature to be a friend in discussing Shastra, then how do you be a friend? Connect with where they are at. So the Guru may speak mundane things, talk about the weather, talk about the cricket scores or whatever it is. But they're doing it not because they want to know, but because that's how you will get connected to Krishna. Right?
I can give one of my personal experience. It's like I was at a point of choosing my career, just like I'm not sure that what the 12th standard is said in this country, but after the 12th standard, then we have to sit for the university admissions and get selected for the tests. So in our country, there are engineering admission tests, medical admission tests, varsity. This is sometimes like. So somehow I get selected for both engineering and medical and medicine. So then at that point, I was thinking like, what should I go for? Then I asked my Gurudev that, Gurudev, not me actually, my mother asked my Gurudev that, what should he study? I mean, should he study engineering or should he study medicine? Then my Guru looked at me and then told me, okay, take two papers. In one paper, write, how would you serve Krishna if you were become an engineer? And in the other paper, write, how would you serve Krishna if you become a doctor? And then the things like, I couldn't write anything about engineering. I mean, I was not getting an idea how I serve Krishna.
The question was, how do you serve the devotees if you choose engineering and
Somehow, yeah. But I couldn't write anything in one page and I could write something in the other page. Then the answer was clear. So then if you're planning to be something like that or engineer or doctor, then become something that would be useful for devotees or Krishna. So this is why I said, they know that how to direct us if we feel like, if we're trying to question, and the answer will come.
Beautiful pastor.
Sorry?
You're saying beautiful pastor.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, oftentimes, we may question like, how is this spiritual? But then going back to the point as well, like oftentimes we might think that we need a personal instruction, but every instruction is personal instruction. But it's the disciples' vision of the instruction on whether they take it or not as being personal. Because like Japatak Maharaj is a classic example, he has so many disciples. Although he's also so special because he has a personal relationship with each and every disciple of his. Like, obviously I haven't spoken to you both, but any disciple of Japatak Maharaj I've spoken to, they share how Japatak Maharaj has been so personal with them on like a massive Zoom call, like hundreds of, I don't know how many join your disciples meetings, right? Hundreds of people, they're like, he used to pick people out, like, oh, this devotee. Like, actually, I should, don't know if I should have mentioned it, but like Kishori Yogini, right? She had mentioned that at some point, Japatak Maharaj had seen her in that little box on Zoom. I was like, oh, Kishori Yogini, my daughter, how is my son-in-law doing?
Oh, is my son-in-law doing?
Son-in-law, rather go in the program.
Oh.
How is he doing? Like, this is after they just got married and stuff. Kishori Yogini was not expecting Japatak Maharaj to have read her letter talking about her marriage and stuff. And here's Japatak Maharaj, having read the letter, having seen her in the box, recognized and joined the dots, and actually asked, how is my son-in-law doing? That's powerful, So it's not that they don't have a personal relationship with each of us. The personal relationship is spiritual. It may or may not manifest in terms of material relationship. But also, all of us need something different. Some people need that personal connection. So there's nothing wrong, like at the end of this we're saying, oh, I shouldn't need a personal connection. I shouldn't think of somebody who I can be in constant contact with. No, everybody needs something different. And you accept and acknowledge that that's your need, your want for your relationship with Guru. But even if it doesn't happen that way, we should always remember that the personal instructions are there in the public classes. And I'll share my own realization on one thing actually. I mean, you both know I've not had so much association with Kadam Maharaj, right? But more than what Kadam Maharaj has spoke when I've been there in person with him, we've only had one-to-one conversation maybe one or two times, yeah? But more than what he's spoken is how he's approached life, how he's interacted with the devotees, people around him, how he's been present before being, or how he's been conscious before being Krishna conscious, is what was so special in terms of what I've learned from him. Like, just as an example, I was in Radhadesh with him, and this was the first time he was going to give me one-to-one conversation. Yeah? First and only time practically that happened. And we had gone into the room, and he has a servant Nitai, and he was basically going to honor lunch prashadam. Small room, and he had his bed, then lunch prashadam was there, just on the floor, and then there was a kitchen and the deities and stuff like that. It was like, I don't know, like up to the stand basically. That's how like wide it was. Yeah. So your bed came up to here, and then it was like normal space. And Nitai had basically brought the prashadam into the middle of the room because Maharaj was obviously going to sit. He needed space to sit, etc., etc. Maharaj didn't realize that that happened. He washed his hands, and then he turned around, and his foot went onto the what do you call it? The cooker and stuff, or the food, and the food went everywhere. And I was like, he's gonna shout at Nitai, because I've learned that Guru is heavy. Guru means heavy, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, now he's gonna shout, like, why did you move it in the front, in the middle, like, you should wait, you know, be patient, etc., etc. I was like, now I'm gonna see the other side of Kandam Maharaj that I've never seen before. I've heard of it because he's such a great manager and you shout. But he was like so blasé about the thing happening. He was like, okay, like clean up, he needed to take his socks off and everything like that. And I was like, what is this? And through that interaction, then I was like, I need to help out, you know, like, because I was doing nothing, so I was like, let me help out. And I was being stupid, and I was gonna go into his bathroom to wash my hands so that I can go and like touch the food and stuff. And he was like looking at me, it's like, what are you doing, you know? Going into the Guru's bathroom to do something. Like, you don't do that.
Oh, good to know.
But I was just like, okay, like I need to wash my hands. The kitchen's over there, and I don't know if it's deity kitchen, so I don't want to wash my hands there. I know that you wash the hands in the bathroom, you know, because you can do that. So I'm like, I might as well go into the bathroom. But then it didn't clock to me. It's Guru's bathroom, like you don't do that. So I did that. He was like looking at me, and then he was like, okay, just take your socks off. Now I was confused. Like, why am I taking my socks off? I didn't take my socks. And then he told Nitai and me, like, don't, because we were basically going to get like tissues and like take the food. It was liquid food as well. But then he told us, like, no, scoop it up and put it in the pot. I was like, number one, how? How do we scoop it? Number two, it just went all over the floor. Like, I'm not putting it back in the pot. But he told us 3-4 times, and he showed us how to do it. Like, literally just do this. And both of us, Nitai and I, were confused. Like, how is, like, that's not going to work. Like, logically speaking, if it was solid food, it would work. But this was liquid. But it worked. I don't know if you guys know this or have tried it, but just spill something and just literally lift it like that. It will actually work. And the whole floor got cleaned like that. But everything went into the pot.
So no food was wasted also.
No food was wasted. And I was thinking, like, what is this, you know? No food is wasted because food is what? Prasadam.
Oh wow.
Even the prasadam fell on the floor, it's still prasadam. A Mahabhagat does not see the difference. I still don't know the socks thing, but this idea of scooping the food up, it's like, it must have happened so many times, not necessarily with Nitai, but just in life. And I can almost guarantee he would have seen other senior Vaishnavas scoop it up. In India, it's probably very common. It is? Okay. And he's teaching us how to do something mundane to apply in Krishna consciousness. Another thing that he's done with Keshav Maharaj is talk about guns a lot. Different types of guns, pistols, and so many things. You might have heard it from Keshav Maharaj. Now, why would a guru be speaking about different types of guns to a disciple?
No, I mean, he was
Yes.
shocked, wasn't he?
He was shocked. When you go out preaching in different places, South Africa, like Keshav Maharaj is in South Africa, that knowledge will be very useful for him. Right? Like knowing, like, okay, what sort of, how people might try and assassinate him, kill him, etc., etc. And with Kadam Maharaj, he had a personal experience because of the shooting in Vrindavan. Because
Yeah.
he was temple president of Vrindavan, but he was overhauling a bunch of gundas basically. And the gundas obviously wanted to kill him. It was basically from the inside that they wanted to kill him. So he was like, he needs to learn about everything so that he knows, you know, what's going to happen and how to defend himself.
It's because of the expansion of Vrindavan, right? Because that Krishna Balram temple space, the Krishna Balram hall was not there before. But Guru Maharaj expanded it beyond.
I don't know the finer details, but he's definitely expanded the land and everything
Yeah,
as well.
but-
Even Goshala.
Yeah, even Gosha. So that land mafias, they were the ones who were after him.
Yeah.
Like that.
Everything the Guru does is something for us to learn, even if it seems mundane. And if we have that vision for what the Guru does all the time, imagine how much we can grow in our spiritual life. Because what is Guru? Is Guru one who just knows philosophy? No, that's just a learned scholar. Is Guru one who is just sentimental behind Krishna? No, because we're not part of the Gopi Bhav club. Right? Guru is one who has understanding of philosophy and the heart of the pure devotees, of the transcendental devotees, combined together. And that's what makes spiritual actually. If you have all spirit but no ritual, no actual showcase of the spirit, then you become sentimental, right? It's just sentimental practice. And if you have only philosophy or only ritual, but no feeling, no sentiment behind it, no spirit behind it, then you just become philosophical. You just become a scholar. But if you add the heart, the spirit, with the philosophy, the rituals, the sadhana that we practice, combine them together, that makes spiritual. So why do we chant? Because that's the practice. But then we're also trying to develop a relationship by chanting in the mood of, please give me service, because we're trying to develop the mood of being a servant. And both together help us grow spiritually. Just having this desire, I want to be a servant, I want to be a servant, I want to be a servant, I want to be a gopi, I want to be a gopi, I want to be a gopi. How is that going to help us? Because you have to do something. If you're going to be a servant, you have to practice being a servant by doing what a servant does.
It's like mother and child, right? Like mother keeps telling the child, I love you, I love you, love you, but doesn't do anything. The child will not feel that love. But if once mother serves the child by feeding him, taking care of him, bathing him, then he feels loved.
Yeah. Bhakti, Prabhupada translates as devotional service. This idea is that it's from the heart, but it's with activity. You don't love somebody just by words. You love somebody by acting in that relationship. Even in mundane life, right? Husband, wife. If the wife just sits at home and says, oh, I love my husband, I love my husband, and the husband sits at home and says, oh, I love my wife, I love my wife, but the husband doesn't reciprocate and do something for the wife, and the wife doesn't reciprocate and do something for the husband, where's the actual love? And I think, I don't have experience of that, but I think maybe one of you might have experience of feeling this, like, my husband, my wife doesn't love me. But they say they love you. But because they're not doing something to showcase that love, that's why you don't feel that love sometimes. So, the feeling, the spirit, with the philosophy, the ritual, combined makes spiritual. And that's what the life of a guru is. They've got the depth in the feeling, and they've got the depth in the scripture. So what they're giving us is not just book knowledge. They're giving us their own realization. And that's special.
And Prabhu, is that reserved for your Diksha Guru? Or like, can you develop that or something of that relationship with sort of, I'm kind of just thinking about, you know, as you meet different Maharajas, and there's always this question of, okay, how do you choose your guru? How does your guru choose you? How does it all happen? And we all sort of think that we can influence this. But so I guess I'm just trying to think of, okay, if I'm in a situation, is it like almost like there's a magnet You know, like there's a magnetic force. So even if I'm walking towards Pankaj Babu as my guru, but actually it's Kiran. You know, like, is there something like this, or actually can I get something?
It's both, right? Like you use intelligence and you use heart. What I was talking about is applicable to Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, like everyone, right? But like we said, you might have 5 maths teachers,
Yeah.
but there's one that you just find yourself always going to.
Mm.
Generally, we say it's the main Shiksha Guru becomes our Diksha Guru. Generally speaking, that's how it is. Because it makes sense, right? If you're always taking guidance from someone, there's a reason for it. Because you feel so in tune with the way they're giving you the guidance, whether it's a public class or a private one-to-one. So it's like, if you're naturally inclined towards going to them, then you have faith in what they're saying. You have faith that they can guide you in the right way, and you have faith that they can actually take you out of the material world. So then, it's very natural for that person to then become your Diksha Guru. But this idea in general that how do we like choose, you know? Like I mentioned, the heart plus the head. My own example is that when I started, and you guys know this as well, but when I started, I actually created a list. How I want my guru to be, how I want myself to be in the relationship, and how I want the relationship to be. So I had like a list of 3 parts, you know? Because in every relationship, there's 3 parts to the relationship. There's me, there's you, and there's the relationship. And when I started, I then also, because you have an ISKCON list of gurus, yeah? So I took that list, and I'm a techie. So I put it in a spreadsheet. Then I created columns in the spreadsheet to go like, okay, you know, like listen to a class, listen to a kirtan, this, right? And then I immediately, like, I knew, okay, you know, from my checklist, I knew there were certain criteria that I had for certain things. So those people I immediately filtered out. I just filtered them out. And then it was like, okay, now I've got, from a list of 150, I went down to a list of like 120, basically, yeah? And then I started filter, and I was still left with 100. And I was thinking like, okay, this is gonna take ages. So let me just listen to one class and one kirtan of each. And I started going through that. And it was like so mechanical. It was like, that's not spiritual. It was just a mechanical act. Trying to find a guru. You know, on my endeavor, I was trying to find a guru. And then time went by and it was like, I don't know, you know, because so many of these are ticking the boxes. And then all these others are just not ticking the boxes. Like, I'm left with like 50 people who are ticking the boxes now. Like, how do I choose? Like, I can't, you know, 50 people. How can I choose 50, from 50 people? Like, one person out of 50. And anyway, so I was going through this whole mental concocted way of choosing my guru. But then when I connected with Kadam Maharaj, then something inside me was like, this person is feeling something that I don't have. That's my personal experience. It doesn't mean that that's how everybody's guru is, right? But he was feeling something that I don't have. And I didn't understand it. And I was like, then I messaged my mentor after the class. And I was like, can I tell Kadam Maharaj that I want to aspire for him? So generally you tell your guru that I'm aspiring for you. But I didn't want to do that because I wasn't sure. So I was like, can I at least tell him that I'm aspiring to aspire for him? You know, just the next level down. My mentor was confused, like, huh? Like, we need to speak. So anyway, that happened. But for me, it was like I had this intellectual exercise of choosing my guru. And it helped me because it helped me know I'm using my mental trip, but it's not helping me. But then somehow I connected with Kadam Maharaj in a way that I've not connected with anyone else. And I knew, like, it wasn't that I knew he was my guru per se, but I knew, like, I'm missing this. Like, whatever it is he's got, I'm missing. And I was willing to give myself.
It was so quite strange because Deshri also had exactly the same experience, exactly like talked about the same experience with Karan Goswami Maharaj. She was also out looking for a guru. And then she read the book of Karan Goswami Maharaj. I'm forgetting the name, but one of the very famous books of his. And she felt that.
Kirtaniya Sadhai?
Sorry?
Kirtaniya Sadhai?
Yeah, exactly that one, yes. And then she was she was feeling very strong vibes, and then she spoke with her mentor about the exactly same thing. And then Karan Goswami Maharaj comes here. We were sitting in the Bhakti lounge, meets him. And also, just before meeting him, a week before meeting him, we kind of misunderstood an event that was supposed to happen in Haveli. We thought it's going to be Karan Goswami, but another Maharaj enters. And she tried to listen that maybe my feeling for Karan Goswami Maharaj may not be so true. Let me listen to another Maharaj and let's see which way do I go to, you know. But then that feeling was still strong with him. And exactly the same way you mentioned happened like that.
Nice. But yeah, everybody has their own different journeys with Guru.
I mean, every day morning we sing Joshodan Dila Jai Janme Janme Prabhu Shri. So there's a relationship that comes life after life. I mean, there has to be something heart and mind.
So the heart comes naturally, like, yeah. And it's not that, like, I'm giving an example, I'm not going to mention the devotee's name, but there's a devotee who was going through that mental exercise as well with 2-3 different gurus. And then it's not that he felt connected with this specific guru, this specific Maharaj. I'll say the guru's name, Shivra Maharaj, right? So he's a Shivra Maharaj disciple. But it's not that he felt connected in the heart-to-heart way, like we were talking about with myself and Siddheshwar Mataji. But he just felt like this strong thing that, okay, you know, like the answers that this person is giving me, that Shivra Maharaj is giving me, it works, you know, like I have faith in it. And he was telling me how, like, he even got initiated, but he didn't have that heart-to-heart feeling until like at least 1.5 years after. So it's almost like an arranged marriage as well, right?
Yeah.
Like you get into the relationship and it's like, okay, I'll do my thing, you do your thing, and then, okay, we're serving each other a bit. And then it's at some point you start serving each other and it's like, oh, the love is actually there. But then some people have the love marriage sort of set up where it's like, you fall in love, love at first sight, but not divorce at first sight, because that doesn't happen with Guru. It shouldn't. But you have both things there. So everybody's journey with Guru is individual. And you've probably already been told this, you know, pray to Nityananda Prabhu, etc. Like what I was told is you literally have to cry for Guru. Because if you think about it, okay, Prakash Prabhu, etc. No, if I speak, I can speak. If you think about it, if you're serious about your spiritual life, you recognize that an exam is coming, but you also know that you don't have the strength to pass the exam. What is that exam? The time of death. At time of death, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if you remember me, you go to me. You come to me. If you remember something else, go to that something else. Scientifically, research says that at the time of death, you have a flashback of your entire life. All the important memories, all the important events, all come to your mind, all come to your consciousness at the time of death. And then in Garuda Puran, it says that actually when you die, how many thousand? 10,000, 100,000 scorpion bites. That's how much pain you feel. So on the one side, science says that you've basically got no chance of remembering Krishna because your whole life you're going to remember your family, your friends, going to the theatre, going to your first date, your children. And on the other side, the scriptures are saying that you've got no chance because at the time of death, all those scorpion bites, you're going to be in so much agony and pain, you're not going to remember Krishna because it's just going to be like, get me out of the pain. It's like doomed and doomed, right? Between a rock and a hard place.
Could be that pain is because of remembering the whole life. I thought that's what you're leading to.
Not quite, but yeah, that's a nice way to see it. But yeah, between a rock and a hard place. Got no chance. And so when you recognize you've actually got no chance on your own endeavor to make it out, then you know that your only hope is Guru. Because that's what Krishna says. Bhakti comes from Bhakti. The Bhakti Lata Bij only grows because of the presence, the association of a spiritual teacher. Because of other gurus, not necessarily just Diksha Guru, but Shiksha Guru as well. And then the verse I gave, Yasadeva Parabhakti, this idea that only one who has implicit faith, firm faith in Guru and Krishna, not just Krishna, but Krishna and Guru, one can cross. Then we have this analogy of a boat. If you're trying to cross the material ocean to get to the spiritual land, then you need a captain of the ship. If we're captaining our own ship, we're going to see this nice girl over there and be like, let's just take a slight detour. Going to see a restaurant, it's like everybody's saying it's a 5 out of 5 restaurant, 5-star restaurant. Let's go and just taste a bit of it and then we'll continue our journey. And before you know it,
you're gone.
And so if we really, really recognize this, and we know that actually without Guru I can't do anything. It's of the Guru's mercy that I have a chance in my spiritual life. And so you really do just give yourself. To the degree you give yourself, to that degree the mercy flows. Or let me rephrase that. To the degree you give yourself, to that degree you allow the mercy to flow. Because the mercy is always flowing. Like I said, the tennis match is always going on. But because you're reciprocating, then you're actually experiencing the mercy and taking advantage of the mercy. Like Guru Maharaj had said, I'm talking a lot of him today. Anyway, I don't usually do this. He had said in one of his School of Bhakti classes actually, in Bhakti Lounge, probably the same one that you're talking about. He was talking about how actually we've got mercy all around us. The manna is mercy, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Many, like we're here today, we get to see the deities today. That's mercy. Prashadam is mercy. The association of Sangha is mercy. Because not everybody has this. So somehow we've come in contact with mercy and so much mercy is flooding our life. But then some of us just come, you look nice today, I need to go to the restaurant, to the cinema now. Some of us come and it's like, okay, free food, let's just come for the food. It's very few who come because they want to take advantage. They want to come in association of devotees, go deeper in the scriptures, develop their own bhakti more. Because you're recognizing the mercy. Like you both mentioned, you've come to the temple many years. But why is it only now that you've started to really take it seriously? Because you're recognizing the mercy is always flowing, but now you need to take advantage of the flow. Electricity can flow through everything. Some things conduct it, some things don't. And if you conduct it, then it flows. Right, I'm conscious of the time.
So maybe we can see if there's any questions just before we...
Just
I've got
one
2 things to say.
Not a question necessarily, but just a thought. We talked about Guru, selecting Guru and all those complexities. But I'm thinking kind of other way around, more about Guru as says how each Guru is about a way to Krishna, and so the question is how I can qualify myself as a disciple so that I can gain that from any Guru. So because it's not about each Guru will try obviously different way, but aim is expected to instruct us to give us helping hand, to make sure, give us spiritual guidance, knowledge, and path to eventually journey to the Krishna. Am I qualified? Am I humble? Am I become even qualified to disciple of that guru. So instead of I select 10 guru, I say, can any one of them select me as a disciple? That is for me will be kind of more fortunate. So I don't think I can select a guru. It should be the other way around, isn't it? Am I lucky enough to be in that position where a guru can say, okay, I'm happy to pull you?
So first thing is both ways. It's not that we select the guru and the guru has to take us on. The guru also selects us. But his selection is different to ours. We select a guru because we're going through an intellectual exercise or a heart connection exercise. And we're thinking, okay, this person seems like the right person. Because we're still thinking very much on the material plane, right? Our feelings is like, okay, it's spiritual because we want the spiritual relationship, but we're not at the spiritual platform to recognize that this is the right person. But we recognize through the Shastra, through the fact that we observe them and all these different things. But when the guru is selecting us, he's selecting us on the basis of he's selecting us on the basis of this person needs mercy and I should give him that mercy. Because you gave nice qualities, right? Humility. If I'm humble as a disciple, will I think I'm qualified to be a disciple? Because I'm making so many mistakes. I could be like, oh, I'm making so many mistakes, I'm not qualified to be a disciple. That's true. Nobody is qualified, actually. Like, if we think we're qualified to be a disciple, that in itself is a disqualification to be a disciple. Because we're not humble. Right? So, does that mean we just don't take the step because I'm not qualified? You recognize you're not qualified, and you recognize you need the mercy in order to even come to a state of some sort of qualification. Without the mercy, you can't advance. And so, in one sense, you can say, and this is strong terminology, but it's real, you're begging the guru to take you as a disciple. The guru has no need for a disciple. The guru is absorbed in Krishna. What need does he have or she have? I have no need. But the guru is like, okay, this person, he needs mercy. He's sincere, he's serious about Krishna. Let me give him some mercy. Let me give him some service. They don't need it for themselves. As I think Kartikeya, you were mentioning, or somebody was mentioning, about how it's not about serving them. It's about growing in that journey to Krishna. The service is the means by which we grow in our journey. But they don't need the service. So keep that mood, but do something with the mood.
Amazing. One more question? And it's okay, if not.
Comments? Realizations?
Sweet. Sorry, Mataji, please.
So yes, bro. So I was just also thinking that we should also beg that Guru doesn't need us, need me, but I need him so that I can cross over this ocean. So yeah, that is a very strong one.
Does the captain need anyone else on the ship? The captain doesn't need anyone else on the ship, right? Because the captain is expert at doing whatever is needful on the ship. That's why they're the captain. It's like, okay, let these people do something on the ship, you know?
So as a personal hero, I should have that hunger that I need to cross over this ocean, so I need to get in this ship.
Yeah.
This 9/1844 is also, I think, quite good analogy in terms of where we stand and how we should look at relationship, and also coming out of that stone mindset, considering that level in maturity.
I think there was something I was thinking about when you were giving the medic example earlier, and then just as you finished there, that something Keshav Maharaj had said in one of his lectures around So obviously we all know, especially from kind of Indian subcontinent, we know like there's the medicine line is something of a very hard work. You know, we know that there's a lot that has to go into it. And Maharaj was just saying, you know, like how much effort, how much we put into our material world when we have, you know, like I want to get that promotion, or I want to do all those things. I want to study something which will then advance me. And all of us, I think, probably true actually, will have put a lot of effort into trying to advance in our material world. So how much are we putting into the spiritual journey? How much are we putting into that? And really, when we kind of look at it, I think I might have mentioned it before, I used to be a runner, okay? And people, you kind of get called, you know, you're this kind of weekend warrior. So you Monday to Friday, you're doing your business, you do all of that stuff. Weekends, you're just out there running, you know, or whatever it might be. Sometimes it's football, sometimes whatever it is, but you're a warrior then. So now maybe I'm a weekend spiritual warrior, but that's not good enough. So obviously we all set our own paths, but we have to be thinking, how much can we do? And look at all we've done in our material world, how much we've put into that. So how can we try to do this? How can we keep raising our game? So I think that was something that struck me then as you were talking.
Yeah, something related that Gish Maharaj also mentioned or talks about is like, imagine if you just gave 5% more to your spiritual life. Mm-hmm. Just 5%. Or if you want to ignore percentages and just go with time, you know, just 10 minutes more. Each day, we just give 10 minutes more to Krishna and our spiritual journey than something else that we do. We'd be amazed by how much progress we make, you know. Like, even if you read one page of Bhagavad Gita and it took you 5 minutes, say, yeah? 10 minutes, you read 2 pages of Bhagavad Gita a day. Now, most copies of the Bhagavad Gita are around 700-ish pages. You finish Bhagavad Gita in 1 year.
So I was thinking about the example set in the Srimad Bhagavatam verse 9:18-44. Just like the example of first class, second class, third class, and fourth class disciples. So a few examples came to my mind. The first one is about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Govinda Das. Govinda Das was the personal assistant of Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu one day after taking his lunch prasadam, Mahaprabhu wanted a piece of haritaki. A piece of haritaki. Just to clean the mouth and freshen the breath. So Govinda Das somehow managed that and gave it to Mahaprabhu. And Govinda Das had the idea, okay, Mahaprabhu might be liking to get haritaki after meal, so let me just keep something with me for the next time. So again next day, or maybe after some days, Mahaprabhu again after taking lunch prasadam wanted haritaki, and this time Govinda Das was very much ready with the haritaki. He instantly brought it up in front of Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu after taking that, Mahaprabhu asked Govinda Das, so, well, how could you manage the haritaki so fast? Then Govinda Das said that I have preserved the haritaki in my custody so that at any point you might want that, I can give it to you. And Mahaprabhu said, okay, this is not a sannyasi mentality, I would say. You have the mind of preserving things, so you should not stay with me. Wow. I mean, go home and serve. So he was given a nice deity to serve, and that's a very beautiful pastime with his deities, with Govinda Das. But that was just thinking, like, sometimes it happens like understanding the mood of the guru could be something. I mean, that's a special relationship. We can't actually categorize it all the time. Another example I would say, Srila Gaur Das Babaji Maharaj, he declared that when he will give up his body, his body needs to be dragged over all over the roads of Navadvip. And at some point, when he gave up his body, his disciples were ready to do as such. They tied 2 ropes in his feet and was preparing to drag him all the way the roads. Then His Divine Grace Bhakti Srimad Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada came to that spot and told that you don't understand even what my Guru is saying and what's his status even. So you're thinking like you are qualified enough to even touch his body. He's such a person that even to touch his body, your mind has to be in such a purified state that you would never be thinking of a woman or wealth, whatever that's the things like. So have anyone can say that you haven't thought of any wealth or women in last 1 year? And no one answered. Then came up like last 1 month, last 1 week, last 1 day, last 1 minute. No one could actually answer. Then His Divine Grace Bhakti Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada took away the body of his Gurudev and just did not allow other Babajis to drag his divine body all over the floor and he set the body of the Gorkudas Babaji Maharaj in the Samadhi in Chaitanya Math, just like the last times I think. So sometimes Guru could be saying other thing, but understanding good mood is some special quality for a disciple. And even so, and sometimes Guru could be testing his disciple that whether he really understands my mood or not. I mean, so it could be tricky.
Yeah.